Here we have the current stock market update for MicroStrategy Incorporated, stock ticker MSTR. Before we begin with today's chart analysis, if you find these educational materials to be helpful in your trading, please remember to click the like and subscribe buttons and leave your thoughts below in the comments section so that other traders will be able to find this information more easily on the platform. So as we can see here, we have the daily price chart, a bit of a longer term view here. Each candle on this time frame will represent a one full day trading period, one full trading session. And as we can see here, share prices are attempting to make a bit of a bounce here after trying to find some support near this 200-day exponential moving average. So this would be roughly here. So currently what we're dealing with is a near-term price low that comes in right around 113.69. We can add this to the chart here. So this does give us a bit of a higher low in relation to the 102.40 low that was posted during the August 5 trading session. On two separate occasions here now, we're starting to see what could be a false breakout to the downside in terms of the price's relationship to the 200-period exponential moving average. That's this rising blue line here. And this, of course, is the daily chart, so that would be the 200-day exponential moving average. On two separate occasions here, we have seen share prices sort of break below here, but then find some support and rally higher in response. So, it's not totally surprising to see a movement like this with a stock that's as volatile as MicroStrategy. Of course, this stock tends to heavily track the price of Bitcoin itself, and Bitcoin is obviously one of the more volatile assets in the market. Not totally surprising to see some slippage here in terms of the overall, technical analysis price levels that would be expected. But as we can see here, some of these price levels have performed and behaved extremely well. One area that I would point to here would be the 61.8% Fibonacci retracement zone, which is this sort of long blue line, long light green line here that I've emphasized with a white marker here. So, as we can see here, what we're looking at is the share price movement from $43.87 all the way to these prior all-time highs, which came in right around this $200 level. So that essentially would be this price movement here. So what we're looking at this point would be the 61.8% Fibonacci retracement of this price move. So that would be roughly, coming in roughly at 103.50. And as we can see here, this first test did work in conjunction with the 100-day exponential moving average as well. That would be this rising purple line here. So we did have two different technical signals that were sort of pointing to the same area, and this did allow share prices to then bounce roughly into 175 or so. So that did sort of help the stock to establish this 103.50 area as a very important support zone. So then when we did see a rough retest of this area during the August 5 trading session, it's not entirely surprising to see that share prices would find some support in that area. It is a very strong level now of historical support. And then we have the 618 retracement to be found there, as well as this 200-day exponential moving average, which is roughly in this area, although not exactly. As we can see here, there is some distance here between this blue line and this light green line. That would be the 618 retracement. So, as things stand, this is really the main level to watch now to the downside. If we do see a break of 103.50, 102.50, right around there, that would probably then suggest that share prices are likely headed much lower. The next level of support that I would be watching to the downside during that type of event would be 77.30, which is the 78.6% fib retracement of this entire trending move here. But as things currently stand, what we are seeing at the moment is a bit of a rallying movement to the top side that does have some important characteristics that should be understood. First, what we're going to do, though, is look at the indicator reading and the relative strength index, because there are some important trend developments that are starting to be seen here as well. So at the moment, what we can see is that there are some conflicting signals here at the moment. I mean, if we look at the longer term reading in the RSI versus the shorter term reading, we do have some conflicting signals here. The shorter term reading is focused on the downside direction, and then the longer term reading here is focused in the upward direction. So on balance, this would tell us that, we do have a positive bias here marginally, not heavily, but marginally. But one thing that could help this outlook start to change would be if we were to see the relative strength index break above this trend line here, because this would then suggest that the prior trend movement that has been focused in the downward direction has now completed itself and run its course. So this would no longer be expected to be influencing share prices. Now, that doesn't mean that we can't develop new negative momentum in the future, but that would mean that this most recent negative bearish trend movement would have completed itself. So that would be a positive factor if we were to see share prices move high enough so that the indicator reading can break this downtrend condition. So if we just sort of look back finally, just to make a brief final point about the share price action itself, what we're currently looking at here as far as a weekly close came in just below the 145 level, and this is interesting because we're starting to come into a very important resistance level that's found at 152.75. Let's mark that in here. So this essentially would be the price high that was posted during the August 26th trading session. And as we can see here, that comes within fairly close proximity to the current price level because we did have that weekly close right around the 145 mark. So if we do start to see some upward share price movement in Bitcoin next week, it really wouldn't take much to send MSTR share prices through this 152.75 level. Overall, my longer term view on MicroStrategy is that if you're bullish on cryptocurrency in general and you do want to focus on Bitcoin rather than the altcoins, my preference personally would be to simply buy the Bitcoin itself. I think that makes a lot more sense. I think that you're not then exposed to this sort of peripheral software business that MicroStrategy still has. If you start to see weakness in there and you were just looking to gain exposure to the Bitcoin itself, you're sort of gaining some unnecessary exposure to a business that's not entirely relevant to the cryptocurrency space. And then in addition to that, depending on where share prices are currently trading with MicroStrategy and the current valuation of Bitcoin, it's for the most part more expensive to buy, to gain exposure to Bitcoin through MicroStrategy. In most cases, this tends to trend around 1.9 per Bitcoin. So in other words, if you buy MicroStrategy stock, you're gaining rough exposure to 1 Bitcoin at the cost of roughly 1.9 Bitcoin. Generally speaking, I mean, these numbers do change because these are very volatile assets. But in general, my view is that it simply makes more sense, if you're bullish on cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, to simply buy the Bitcoin on its own. So here's the current market update for MicroStrategy Incorporated, stock ticker MSTR. Our high value trading strategies membership is currently available for a limited time for only $9.99 per month. These high conviction investment strategies are characterized by superior risk to reward metrics that target massive market beating returns over time. Join now to outperform the market, lock in this special introductory rate of just $9.99 per month for the entire lifetime of your membership, and start trading stocks with the pros.